Near Noida, there's a village which is said to be the birthplace of Ravana. Yeah, so during that Dashera, na, in that particular village, they don't burn Ravana. But it's said that it's the birthplace of Ravana.
That with all respect to Ram, Ram is too perfect and Ravana is very human like. Ravana does mistakes. Ram never does mistake. You know, the difference between Ramayana and Mahabharata. I feel Ravana is portrayed as very human like. He did mistakes. He committed certain things which he shouldn't have done. Okay, and he did regret as well. And so in my book, The Asura Curse, the what happened to Ravana after the Ramayana.
Hi guys, and welcome to the Show of Books and Theories podcast. So we have always tried to bring new content for you, a new interesting topics for you, and this time I'm having a very interesting topic for you that is about Asuras. We when we talk about mythology, we talk about Ram, we talk about Ravan, we talk about Mahabharat, we talk about Rig Vedas, Yajur Vedas, and all those things we talk about. But in everything, every mythological content, there is one thing which is common, that is Asuras and Devas. Although we know a lot about Devas, we know a very little about Asuras. Who actually are Asuras? Do they really exist, or it's just a mythology? So today we have author Anu from Germany, and that's the why we are having this online podcast shoot. And she has written a beautiful book about the Asura's curse, and I have read that book. A very interesting book, which is, although it's having n number of other dimensions to that book, but today we'll be talking more about Asuras, and we want to know that what she has researched about Asuras, because when you will read that book, you will realize that she has definitely met an Asura, because the way she has actually described everything into it seems like that. So that's why I invited her, so that we can have a deep conversation about her research work and what all things she has found while researching this book about Asuras. So Anu ma'am, welcome to the Show of Books and Theories podcast. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you so much for having me on your show. It's such a great pleasure being able to talk to you.
That's my pleasure, ma'am. And frankly telling you, I have finished your book, and one thing which is very key about that book, when you read, you will feel that it's a deep research book. Being an author myself, I always believe that if you're writing something, that need to be researched well, and then only it should be brought into a paper. And that thing what I felt from your book, it was very well researched. And even when I was reading about Asuras, or the other dimensions of Nazis, or about NASAs and all those things, I was trying to Google as well to see that what the accuracy level of the research work you have given. So thanks a lot for writing this book first.
Thank you so much. You know, the first draft was written in 2013 for this particular book, and I took that long. I wasn't sure whether I've completed, is it enough, is it worth to be published. I took my time writing it, rewriting it. You know, as an author, you know what it means to write a book and make it sure that it's ready for the readers. So it took quite a long time for me to be able to give it to the readers, and it's finally there.
To ma'am, so you have written a book, Asura Curse. So obviously you have researched about Asuras. You must have read a number of books related to Asuras. So the first question I want to ask you: what actually are Asuras, and do they really exist? What the real meaning of Asuras? Are they really demons, or they're just the mythological words? What's your take on that?
I think asuras have been there since the Rigvedic time. If you carefully think of Rig Veda, or if you read Rig Veda, asuras are mentioned many, many times, but not as demons. Demons, they were demonized much later, after the Rig Vedic period. In Rig Veda, I believe that asuras and devas were two group of people from the same clan, it feels like, but they had two different ideologies. So one was called Devas and the other one was called Asuras. So
Hmm.
Asura, that name, that word Asura, it comes from Sura. Sura, Asura. The opposite of Sura is Asura in Sanskrit. So what is
Okay.
Sura? Sura is apparently it's a holy drink. It's an alcoholic drink. It's a wine. So people who drank Sura are called Devas. They call themselves Devas. And the people who did not drink that particular wine were called Asuras. That's one of
Okay.
the theories how this
Which
term.
happened in Samudra Manthan, no?
Sorry, say it again.
Which happened in Samudra Manthan.
Possibly, yes. It happened in that drink that came out from the Samudra Manthan. Probably that was Sura. So
Hmm.
that's how Asura came into existence. And if you think about it carefully, there are two group of people who has different ideology. One drinks alcohol, the other one drinks. It doesn't just end there. It is just a starting point. So one has different belief system, the other has different belief systems, and they divided. That's how it started from the Rig Veda.
So I was reading about Asuras. I was also researching something for this podcast, and it's very fascinating to read about that. It's not necessarily that Asuras, whom we called as Asurs, were by birth Asurs. So if we look at the previous births, they were Devas as well. So like if we talk about Ravana, Ravan was actually Dwarpal of Lord Shiva. Jay and Vijay. The
Yeah,
story
yeah,
goes like
yeah.
Jay and Vijay. So when I think Muni Vashisht gave them something that they will next in the next birth they will become demons. So then Ravan and Kumbkaran they
Hmm.
became. So something like that. The story goes in that those directions. But as we're talking about Devas and Asuras, so we always, as a Hindu mythology, we divide that Devas are the good person and Asuras are the bad person. But is it really good or bad, or it's more of some sort of psychological division or some sort of philosophical division that is there, which we may be assuming nowadays like Devas and Asuras?
Mm, it is a bit of everything. I feel like it's not just the division based on psychology, or it's also ideology. And
Hmm.
and and um, there was a division. That is what it is. So us versus them started much later after the Rig Veda. In the Rig Veda itself, even Indra was said to be an Asura. Even Agni was an Asura. Rudra was an Asura. Rudra and
Oh.
Agni are associated with Shiva. They say that
Hmm.
he had two names. Agni was actually Shiva, they say. So Indra, Varuna, I think Varuna also, if I'm right. Agni, Rudra, they were all Asuras. So it was okay to be an Asura in the beginning. They were not demons. They were not evil people like later on they were claimed to be. In the beginning, it was just two groups, two divisions, two different people, two different ideas, two different thoughts, two different belief system, you can call it. And then,
But this is astonishing to me. You are saying that Indra, Varun,
yeah,
they all were Asurs.
Indra was
They were they
Asur.
were.
It was like I read somewhere. It was like it is okay. Some devas became asuras. Some asuras became devas. It's okay, depending on
Hmm.
what they believe. You got
Okay.
my point. In the beginning, it was like that, and later on, I think it almost sounds like as if they had a clash with each other. Their division became more and more clear. See, in
Hmm.
my book, The Asura Curse, if you read carefully, I consider this as a historical event, and people like Ravana, Ram, and they as if they are real people. If you think of mythology, what is mythology? Mythology can be stories. Mythology can be only stories, but for me, it's historical events. That's how I look at these things. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So Asuras were real people. So this is all our ancestors. This is the story of Bharat. This is the story of India. This is our ancestors, how it was. That's how I see it.
Hmm. Very interesting, huh? And one more thing, your book talks about the Asuras, and it seems like the lineages of Asuras are still there, and the clans are still alive, and they're planning something. So, in your research work, do you feel that the lineages of Asuras are still there, or people whose ancestors were Asuras, or they are still uh, prey Asuras, such type of Asuras are still there in the system in
In
the
Sri
on
Lanka,
Earth?
in Sri Lanka, definitely. In Sri Lanka, there are people who are still Asuras who believe that Ravana was a nice guy. Ravana was their king. They believed he was a nice guy. And you must have already also heard about certain parts in India, like I think Jharkhand, and they still have a tribe. They call themselves Asura. That is one thing. You know, the other thing is Asuras might have, you know, converted themselves into just normal people like you and me. Some of them might not even know that they are Asuras. It's possible. I'll
Okay.
give,
So I'll yeah, yeah, please continue.
yeah,
Please
there's
continue.
just one thing. There was, you know, in Andaman Island, Andaman Nicobar Island, there is a group of people, tribal people living there. Even today, they are protected by the government, and they are called sentinels. You know, the name
Okay.
sentinel. If you look at the English dictionary, what does sentinel mean? Watch out for. It's called, yeah,
Hmm.
somebody. So we call them sentinels. Who are they actually? What is their original name? We don't know.
Hmm.
You know, we call them sentinels because we are afraid of them because they look different. They're not. They
Hmm.
don't look like so. Whoever looks different, we are afraid of them. Correct.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's possible that Asuras should be there, and they are there definitely.
So do you feel that Asuras were actually maybe they were some sort of tribe or some different sort of civilization is we call them Asuras, but they were actually tribes or some sort of civilization was different from the common community, and that the reason they were taken up like that.
It depends on which time are you talking about, which period of our history are you talking about? Right now, modern day, or in the past?
In the past.
It is. There was tribes are always, they live in the forest, they are hidden, they hide themselves from other people, they behave them because of survival is a big thing, correct? So they have to fight for existence, they have to. Yes, I think so. The answer is yes to your question.
Hmm. So I live in Noida.
Yeah.
So near Noida, there's a village which is said to be the birthplace of Ravana.
Oh, yeah, I heard about it. Yes.
Yeah, so during that Dashera, na, in
Mm.
that particular village, they don't burn Ravan.
Mm-hmm.
But it's said that it's the birthplace of Ravan.
Okay.
But one thing I always believe that the concept of Devas and Asuras, maybe this is my cycle or my theory, but I believe that the concept of Deva and Asura is the interpretation of good and bad, which is at present at moment within everyone. So we all are good
Yeah.
in some way, and we all are bad in some way, and this is what is being tried to narrate through various Vedas or various texts, ancient texts. This is what is being tried to given to us, because if you look at the Hindu mythology, there are many things which we think like it's because of God or something, but I think that they have been given to us or taught to us in that way so that they can be afraid, and because of that fear we can actually be doing something good. Like, just for an example, we talk about Diwali. What we do in Diwali, we we start cleaning our homes much before when Diwali festival comes. So maybe years back, I'm not denying that Lord Ram killed Ravan and he came back. That could be one of the incidents, but the text or the people in those days may have related the return of Ram with a festival called Diwali, so that there can be a fear in everyone's mind, or there can be a psychological shift in the mind of people that okay, in that day, before that day, we should clean our environment, we should clean our surrounding, we should clean our home, so that it becomes a ritual that every year in these months we have to clean everything. That can be one sort of thing. So this is what I feel. Or similarly, like Holi. So if you
Yeah.
see, before Holi, we do all that burning. Holi then we do. So maybe
I,
that is because
yeah.
it because that was the time when most of the leaf used to fall. It's an autumn time and all those things. So maybe that's the time when they want to clean up those things. So they have always tried to attach some sort of fear in humans' mind so that they can do something good. Even the fast what we do. So fast, do one day fast in a week, maybe in the name of Lord Sun or some other god. But today we know that fasting is one of the best cleansing for a
Yeah,
body.
yeah. I have three things coming to my mind from what you said. Okay,
Yeah,
number
yeah,
number 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 one. If you think about Persia and Zoroastrianism, over there they call Deva, which are with a different spelling, and Ahura. They say not Asura, but they say Ahura. In Zoroastrianism, Deva is a bad guy, Ahura is a good guy, the opposite of what Hinduism does.
okay,
Okay, so that is number one. And number two, there is a theory which says that um, the good and the evil is within us. That is the essence of Hindu philosophy, isn't it? The good and evil is all within us. We are
hmm,
part. There is no human being who is perfect, who has everything. So we all have good in us. We have all have bad in us. This is the essence of Mahabharata. This is what even in Bhagavad Gita they say, correct?
correct.
In Bhagavad Gita they say that not nobody is perfect. We all have good and bad things in us. And if you think of Mahabharata carefully, there is no hero. Everyone has a flaw in them. Even
Hmm,
Krishna has a flaw in him. Krishna is God, but Krishna is not perfect in what he does, what he thinks. He has good intentions,
hmm,
and sometimes he does it in a tricky way in order to win, correct?
hmm,
So this is the other thing. And so in Ramayana, what I feel is that with all respect to Ram, Ram is too perfect and Ravana is very human like. Ravana does mistakes. Ram never does mistake. You know, the difference between Ramayana and Mahabharata,
hmm,
I feel Ravana is portrayed as very human like. He did mistakes. He committed certain things which he shouldn't have done. Okay, and he did regret as well. And so in my book, The Asura Curse, the what happened to Ravana after the Ramayana war. This was thing that was on my mind for a long time. What happened to Ravana? Because I read somewhere that Ravana, although he physically died, he neither went to heaven nor hell because he was the way he was killed. No? So he was
hmm,
in between, not neither in heaven nor hell. He was in between. So what happened to him? That is one thing. The third thing, what I wanted to tell you from what you said was this Diwali and good versus evil, the burning of effigy of Ravana. When I was in India, I grew up in India, so I was always thinking, poor guy, they're burning his. What should he be feeling? Who is he? This Ravana must have lived thousands of years back. They're still
hmm,
burning his effigy. What does it mean?
hmm,
I always felt as a young person, I always felt I'm so sorry for Ravan. how he must have been feeling. So for me
Hmm.
personally, stories of underdogs or stories of people who are defeated is more fascinating than people who win. People who lose have a better story to say because they always think, what did I do wrong? Why did I lose? Why did I, what mistake did I make? How can it be better? That story is more fascinating for me as a writer.
And Ravan story is very very fascinating. I'm not sure. Do you know that why Ravana never touched Sita? I recently read about that.
Why he didn't touch her?
Yeah, she was with Ravana in Lanka. Sita was almost for a year,
Yeah. See,
and in
that's
that complete year, he
that
never touched her.
yeah, that says something about his character, doesn't it? I personally feel he was compelled to kidnap her. He was forced to kidnap her. And why did he kidnap her? Shurpanakhi, that is the sister of Ravan, her nose was cut off. Why was her nose cut off? Because
Hmm.
she went to Lakshmana and she says, I like you, I want to marry you. She said to
Hmm.
Lakshmana, correct? And what did Lakshmana do? How dare you ask me? And then, as an insult, he cut off her nose. And
Hmm.
Shurpanakha came to Ravana and said, see, I was insulted. So Ravana was enraged. That's what is written in Ramayana, correct?
Hmm.
So
But
he
there is
became
one
an
more.
yeah, please.
Yeah, yeah, please continue. We please continue.
Okay, so Ravana became angry and he wanted to take revenge. That is one part of the story. And
Hmm.
if you look at carefully as a history, as a thing that happened, really, you can make out that in the north were Aryans, in the south were Dravidians. Yeah, that is very
Hmm.
clear, correct? So the Aryans wanted to conquer Dravidians at that time.
Hmm.
Asura's king, the most famous king, Ravana, was in the south, from the Deccan Plateau down to Sri Lanka. Today,
Hmm.
Sri Lanka was Ravana's kingdom, and they say it was extremely prosperous. So the north, from Aryans, they wanted to conquer this place. They couldn't. They tried all measures. They provoked Ravana. They wanted him to do mistakes so that the north, the Aryans can give a narration saying, this is why we conquered Deccan, the south. That
Hmm.
could be the
A new
reason.
theory. A
So
new theory.
no, it's there. It's not my theory. It's there. People have spoken about this. Scholars have said this. It's not my theory. I'm just repeating what I read.
Hmm. No, so, the question was like why he never touched Sita. So
Yeah.
although you have answered it, there's a story also behind it.
Okay.
I have recently read that story.
Okay.
That story says that what happened once that Ravana went to Indralok
Okay.
in Swarg. So there, when he saw Menka, one of the Apsara, it said no, that Menka is the most beautiful Apsara.
Mm-hmm.
So when he saw Menka, he was like into lust. He wanted to touch her and all those things. So when he tried something, so Menka is actually a wife of Kuber,
Yeah. Okay.
and if you know,
Kuber is
Kuber is
brother of Ravana. Yeah.
brother of Ravana. So when Kuber came to know that Ravana tried to do some mischief with Menka, he actually cursed Ravana that in future if you try to touch any of unknown girl or any one who is not your wife, you will die at that moment. So तुम भस्म हो जाओगे उसी वक्त अगर तुम किसी और स्त्री को टच भी करते हो. If you will touch, you will be burnt at that time. So this is the main reason why Ravana never tried to touch Sita. He always went and asked that if she can marry her,
Okay.
and she rejected every time.
Is this
And
written
but he never
in
touched her.
is this written in Ramayana?
I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
I read somewhere. I read somewhere.
But I don't think it's written in Ramayana. So Ramayana
Yeah.
clearly has some intention. Why was
Yes.
Ramayana written? Correct. It's pretty clear. There's good, there's evil, there's good hero, there's villain, there's good guy, there's bad guy, and bad guy has to be killed. So the good guy comes and kills the bad guy. The old formula still works.
See, see, you are a writer. I am a writer. See,
Yes.
and I always feel that writer is having a capability. to turn a story in his as per his interest. So if I am writing about any political leader, I can always write as per my wish. I can be a biased person.
Yes.
If, for example, presently Russia and Ukraine are in war,
Mm.
and if I am a writer who loves Putin,
Mm.
maybe I would have written a story about Putin and Ukraine. In my version, I would have shown Putin as a hero, and maybe other guy as a villain. Whereas someone maybe from Ukraine or maybe from Germany,
Mm.
if they would have written, they would have made Putin as a villain and Zelensky as a hero.
Yeah.
So, what's your take on this? Is it possible that Ramayana was a biased granth? And I heard that there are other versions also where Ravana is shown as a hero.
Definitely. I think that this was propaganda. It's pretty clear, isn't it? It was, if you look at this as a historical event, in any historical event you take it, who is
Hmm.
telling the story matters.
Hmm.
Who tells the story? What is the perspective? What is the idea behind? It feels like it's a very political story, a story that is written for political reason. So
Okay.
Rama is perfect. Rama conquered this Lanka. Rama fought
Hmm.
against Ravana. Why did Rama? He has to justify to his people saying, okay, this is the war of dharma. So
Hmm.
the good versus evil. This is the narration you give to people. Even Putin and Ukraine also, they are saying this is, we are the victims. They call each other victims. So who says what?
Hmm.
Who is telling the story? So there's always
Hmm.
two sides to every story. One says one thing, the other says the other thing. I think if you compare Ramayana and Mahabharata, it's pretty clear. In Mahabharata, it's very human-like story. Everyone make
Hmm.
mistakes. It's like as if Vyasa has written the incidents as if the way it took place. Huh? There's no good or
Hmm.
bad. Everyone is good and bad. But if you
Hmm.
look at Ramayana, it's pretty obvious to me. They had an agenda, clear agenda. It feels like that.
Hmm. Okay.
And
So,
just one more thing. Sorry. Um,
yes,
So I want to write what happened to Ravana after the war of Ramayana, the Great War of Ramayana. What happened to Ravana?
I was about to come on that.
Okay.
So, and my question was on related to that only because when I was reading your book, I felt like there were many scenes, or the book was written in such a way that you start feeling that you are living in Lanka. The narration, the points, the locations, what all have been mentioned, it seems like it's been written by someone who has gone deep into Sri Lanka, seen each and everything, and then it's been narrated. So you really went to Lanka and did all this research,
I've never been to Lanka.
or
I've never been to Sri Lanka.
you never been to Sri Lanka?
I've never been to Sri Lanka.
Then everything what you have mentioned, how you have researched about that?
I I I read about it and then I just delve into it. I just imagine I'm there. And sometimes I feel as a writer. I don't know how you feel. You've written more books than me, but I personally feel that I can imagine things better than going to the place. If I go to the place, it destroys my imagination. How do you feel? Do
Hmm.
what is your take on that?
Same.
Do you better you
No,
go
what
there?
I do, I also don't go to those places. But what I do that if I'm, for example, in my first book, I was writing about Calcutta. Okay, so I want to show that my protagonist is in a police station and he is going to some place in Calcutta. Now, when I was writing that scene, I wanted to give my readers a feel that they should feel that he's actually in Calcutta.
Hmm.
So what I did, I opened up Google Map and I searched that location, that okay, this is point A, this is point B, and now if he will travel, which routes he will take, and in those roads, what are the shops available, a sweet shop or something, a movie hall. I tried to imagine everything over that Google Map, that what all places are there, and because it was a time drama, so I tried to figure out that okay, this road how it used to look in the about 10 years back or 15 years back, and then I tried to imagine and then I narrated it so
Yeah,
that when people are reading, they if I talk about one of the sweet shop, people should relate. Okay, okay, there's a sweet shop.
yeah,
He
yeah.
must have gone there. So
That's
this is the way I do.
I do something similar, okay? But for me, it's like when you talk about history, archaeology is very important, because
Hmm.
archaeology is one way that is proves what you read. Archaeology is a proof, a physical evidence that this thing happened. But when Ramayana is concerned, there is no evidence, there's no archaeology, there's no archaeological site that you can describe because it's so old,
Hmm.
and the climate zone in India is like it doesn't allow things to last that long. It just destroys, gets
Hmm.
destroyed organically, so you have to do something where you have proof. So what do I do? So that's
Hmm.
why this flying machine, this was, I just took it as a from an archaeological point of view, as if it's all real. It's very important. I like it. So when the writer feels it, the reader feels it too, correct?
Correct. So you're talking about that what happened after Ramayana. So you have done some research, or and you want to tell us something more that what actually happened after Ramayana? What happened to Ravana?
There was one line that said that Ravana didn't go to heaven or hell. He was just in hanging there somewhere. That motivated me to further imagination. There isn't much that is written, so I had to come up with the story. What Ramayana? I had to imagine where is Ravana at the moment? How can I meet him? How can I talk to him? So the
Hmm.
whole narration, was created based on that. So he's somewhere. He's in the form of a ghost, or he's in the form of spirit. So he lives through his successors. So that's why
Hmm.
I wanted to have this tribe Asura who exists even today in the forest, and they're hidden
So
away.
I think a few years back there was a documentary which says that when Ravana died, so he was actually being taken up by some pride. So his dead body was taken up, and taken away by some tribe in those days, and they have mummified his body and they placed it in some of the caves in Sri Lanka.
Okay.
And if you remember, a few years back, some news channel, maybe Z News or something, they were trying to search those caves and try to find out the body of Ravana. That
Okay.
was a long documentary that kept on happening in news channels in those days. So why I know this, because the main reporter at that time, that was covered by Rahul Sinha.
Mm.
Presently, I think he's in Z News. So he covered that complete documentary and he
Interesting.
went to all those places. So he lives in my society, so he's good friend of mine. So when we sit sometimes, so he used to narrate that okay, what happened, how he went there, what he has searched. He went to forest and to find out many places and many things. So as per his narration, he told me that in those days, even many places which were not considered as an historical places, or even no one was even worshipping there, no one was visiting there. But then that research and that documentary came up, then people actually realized okay, these are the places which are related to Ramayana.
Did he did
And then even
he
Shilikan,
did he find
yeah,
the body? Sorry to interrupt.
no, no.
Okay. Okay, he didn't find.
But if you go in and look at to the archives of YouTube and all others, you will find those newses, because there were many news at that time that Ravana's body is placed in somewhere in the cave. They were even trying to show that cave. I still remember that visual. It's a huge mountain. In that there was one small hole.
Mm.
It was claimed that in this hole the Ravana's body is placed, but it's a place where it's impossible to climb and go there. It's in such a way. So I still
Interesting.
remember that.
Interesting. So even today we are searching for his body remains somewhere. So how much impact he must be having on us after thousands of years? It's just so great. It's absolutely fascinating. But I was just thinking, even if they find Ravana's body, how would they prove that it's his body? the
Then
remains.
the
Yeah.
archaeologists always have their ways to prove things. No?
So you need
The
DNA. So
carbon dating, and all those things they can still do. So if they can prove that Tutankhamun mummy, then obviously Raman mummy can also be proved if it's there.
yeah, that would be nice, I guess.
So tell me more about your book now. So what, because this book is having other aspects also.
Mhm.
So there's an aspect of Nazis and Aryans.
Yeah. See, I was our protagonist in the book is an archaeologist, Rohan Sharma. So I wanted to see story as a real. So he finds an artifact in Sri Lanka, and it's an underwater artifact. So he dives in the Indian Ocean and brings it out. So, and in the beginning they think that it's a ship that has sunk, and later on they find out that it's a flying machine. So they do some research on that flying machine, and they know that it was because of the chemical analysis and the metal analysis. They come to know that it was predated to the first flying machine found by Wright brothers. So then he digs deeper, the archaeologist Rohan Sharma, and he finds that there was one guy in Maharashtra who flew a machine, who built a machine and had flown, and he collapsed. That machine collapsed in Indian Ocean. So that much proof they find, and that was a machine, and that machine was based on. He built the machine based on a manuscript by Manika Shastra. So now,
Very
what
interesting.
is yeah.
No, very interesting.
Yeah, so Vaimanika Shastra, now they find a manuscript. What is this manuscript all about? Who wrote it? So that takes them back to Ravana's flying machine, which is we know as Pushpaka Vimana, or
Pushpa
the
Viman.
Sri Lankans call it Dandumonara, the flying peacock, they call it. So they trace back, and then we go back um, to the Asuras. So in the beginning, whenever Rohan tries to prove something, there's some people who's trying to stop him. So who are these people trying to stop Rohan from proceeding with his research? That's how the story goes. It's a thriller.
I have read it, and it's a very interesting story. And I have read this story when I was going to Vaishno Devi. So I recently visited Vaishno Devi in Jammu.
Yeah,
So you must be knowing Vaishno Devi temple.
I've heard
So
about it.
while I was in my during my journey in my train, I started reading, and till I came back in the return journey, I finished it. So I enjoyed a lot my journey with your book.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's interesting to make it interesting. Yeah. So it's a mystery, it's a thriller, yeah. And it's facts based fiction, yeah, by the way.
So I always believe so. For any writer, it's very important that how much research work we do,
yes,
because if we are not bringing up that reality to our writing, then readers are intelligent enough to understand that you don't know anything.
definitely.
And one thing is very viable from your writing, that the way you have explained archaeology and archaeological facts, you must have did a good research on that.
Yes. I went to
So
the museums. In Germany there's this Leipzig Museum, Berlin Museum. I went there, looked at the artifacts, and in Mysore, I'm from a place called Mysore. Have you heard about it?
no.
It's very close to Bangalore. It's about 120 kilometers
Okay.
from Bangalore. I come from there, and there we have a Oriental Research Institute,
Mm-hmm.
and they have this old manuscripts there. Apparently, that Oriental Research Institute is where they found the Chanakya's Arthashastra. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a same institute, and they have many other manuscripts as well. They have Mahabharata version and many other. So I went there, did a research on manuscripts and how they do handle all this kind of things. So it's a long story, lot of work done.
So we talked a lot about Asuras and mythology and text. So like I would like to talk something more personal to you now. So since how much time you are in Germany?
A long time. I left India many years back, 20 plus years, yeah.
Oh, so from last 20 years you are in Germany. So you have not visited India in between?
I visit India very often. I've
Okay.
been living not only in Germany but in the Middle East and different parts of Europe, and right now I'm in Germany.
Okay. And apart from writing, what exactly you do?
I am basically a software engineer. I used to work in the corporate IT development,
So so
but
most of us all most of the writers are actually 9 to 5. They're working in corporate.
yeah, but if you're from Bangalore, you should become a software, I guess. But somehow software and corporate is not my thing because corporate is very. I had to struggle. I had to come in terms with that. Huh? The corporate is
Mhm.
not easy. Corporate job is like not for a creative person. So I find my home in writing. It is much interesting than working 9 to 5, I guess.
So frankly, telling you, even I work 9 to 5, and then the most relaxing thing for me is to sit and write.
Yeah,
So people ask me that you just came back from your office at 8 after taking your dinner, your gym and everything. From at 11 o'clock in the night, you start writing and doing something. How you get energy for that?
yeah,
I said, "Ki, this is what is actually giving me energy.
yeah.
So if I'll start writing at 11 o'clock, or I'll start reading a book, or I'll start doing a research, that actually energizes me back."
I'm so much involved when I'm writing. It's like I'm in a different world altogether. Huh? It is, it
True.
is, it is very relaxing. When I'm not writing, also I'm thinking about it. So it's like a full time job. Huh?
It's same happens with me. I start feeling that the characters are around me.
Yeah, and it's
So,
nice. You feel that way. It's a very good feeling. I love to write. If I don't write, if I then I feel I'm wasting my time. I need to write. Do something. Yeah.
sometimes I feel that being a writer is really a tough job, because when we are with someone, or when we are at some other place also, at that time also our brain keeps on thinking in a different mode. So like presently I'm writing a book about something which is about teenagers and all those things. So you'll not believe, I'll keep on researching about the way Gen Z's used to talk. They
Hmm.
have a very different sort of language which we don't understand. The way we are talking, they don't talk like that. They will say the same line but in a different language. Bat crumb and different sort of words which we cannot understand what actually they are talking. And this is I'll say this, my research says that this is an evolution. Because what happened, when the Gen Z came into picture, so I'll say me and my generation people who actually were from 80s, and they have seen the shift of the technology and everything. We feel that we are very smart, so we cautioned our generation, the next generation a lot. So they thought, let's invent a new language so that these old people should not understand what we are talking. So this is how this evolution happened, and this new language of Gen Z is in place.
Just
And
wait. I'm sorry to interrupt, but when you say Gen Z, it always comes from what is Gen Z now? Generation Z. That means it's dystopia, end of the world. There's no more next generation after that. What's
no, no. 2025, it's now Gen Alpha. Don't know.
okay?
So
Alpha.
so
After
whoever
alpha
so
comes beta. After beta comes gamma, and
so
then
like I'm an 80s. I'm an 80s kid. Okay, I born in 80s. Then from 90s till 2000, they are known as millennials. Who born up in 90s and 2000, they are millennials. Then after 2000, it became Gen Z, which continued for 25 years. That is 2025. So now all kids who born after 2025, they will be Gen Alpha. They will be
See,
much more advanced.
okay, let's see how much advanced they'll be. But anyway, back to Asuras. When you say that, you just said that how much advanced the current time is, how much advanced the current generation is. Never underestimate the people in the past, especially the
Yes.
Vedic civilization, and never underestimate that they were not advanced. That even today, because just because we have mobile phones, we have laptops, we have internet, and we are talking to each other thousands of kilometers away, yes, it's a big thing. It wasn't there in the past. Yes, I agree. But do not underestimate how it was in the Vedic civilization. I'll give you an
No,
example.
I don't believe that they don't have.
It,
I'll tell you. I have a theory for that.
yeah.
Um, I feel that there's one theory. I'm not sure if you are aware about that, but we say that it's Satyog, Dwapar Yog, Treta
Mm.
Yog, and Kal Yog. These are the four yogs which continue. No? But these yogs actually don't go in a linear way. They are in a sinusoidal way. So it's come Satyog, then it goes down into Treta, then after Treta it again come back to Satyog.
Mm.
Then from Satyug, when it goes down, it goes into Dwapar, and from Dwapar it comes back to Kalyug, and from Kalyug again goes back to Dwapar. So it's a sinusoidal ways.
Okay.
So that's why you see the Satyug or Treta Yug, they were so advanced. They were having Pushpak Vimans. They have Brahmastra, which we can say like Brahmos and other missiles we have today. They already had in those days. So we are the theory says that we are actually not in Kali Yuga, but we are actually in Dwapar Yuga right now. And after Dwapar, now again that will come. It will again move towards Satyug. That is the peak of Satyug. We'll go. That's the reason you see we are again having all those things. What we are reading in mythology, like various sort of missiles, various war equipments, Pushpak Viman, all those things we have already gained. We have flights, we have planes, we have mobile phones, we have various type of missiles, nuclear weapons. We have. So we are actually going again on a peak of Satyug. So this is actually a Satyug as per the theory. And then after Satyug, we will again go to the deepest part of the Kalyug, where the world will again end. This is what that theory says.
Okay, that is very interesting. But can I
And
add?
again,
Can I?
yeah, please add, then I'll
Can,
add
can,
something
can
more.
I can I add something to that? See,
Yeah, yeah.
missiles technology is one kind of advancement. I don't deny that. I don't underestimate that. Definitely, it is advancement. But having said that, what about mind? What
Hmm.
about happiness? What about fitness? What about health? Yeah, these are something which our ancestors knew in the past. For example, Buddha and
Hmm.
Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita. So they knew, and they are telling us, if you read them, you will understand how to be happy. Surrounded by all these luxuries, what we have today, aeroplanes, trains, cars, mobile phones, etc., etc., etc. Are we happy human beings? And this old Upanishad, old way of living, yoga, meditation, Ayurveda, is so modern in Europe. People are going back
Hmm.
in time. So, what do you say about that?
No, so that's what I'm saying. Na? It will again. We will reach to the peak of Satyug. We are we have entered into Dwapar Yuga, and after Dwapar we'll again go back to Satyug. So that's what I'm saying. So see, nowadays you see people are more conscious about health. Like people have started going gym. I'm not sure if everyone is doing it, but I see people around me who are getting health conscious.
Yeah.
So that will reach to the peak where people will be very health conscious as used to be in Satyug. And today people are talking about mindfulness, people are talking about
Yes.
meditation, yoga. If you see about 20 years back, people are not talking about this. People even never knew about mindfulness or yoga. People know yoga, but it was not so popular. Nowadays everyone is trying to do yoga, everyone is talking about mindfulness. In my podcast, I think I have done 4 to 5 podcasts just on mindfulness techniques.
Wow.
So I think people are more getting aware about it, and after some years, it will reach to a peak level. What I
Yes.
feel.
Totally modern. this old
Yeah, because
concept.
people are getting aware about it. And see, when we reach the peak of that level, that is actually Satyog,
Mm,
where the people were talking about peace, mindfulness, peace of mind, talking about health, body. So that is what is a Satyog, na?
yeah, definitely. And I'm
And another theory.
looking forward to Satyug again.
And another thing, what I was saying about the past, that they were so modern and they had so much technologies. I had one theory when we say that we are still searching for black holes. We don't know what exactly black hole is. So I was recently reading somewhere that they have done an experiment in lab where they have created a miniature black hole through which they have traveled. Sound wave has traveled through that black hole,
Mm-hmm.
and a small mass they tried to make it travel from one end to another end with the help of black hole using sound, and it traveled. So this is what the experiment happened. Now if you see Narad Muni,
Mm-hmm.
it is said that Narad Muni got a vardhan from Brahmaji that he is having the power that he can travel in different loks. So there are different loks, different galaxies, and he is the only person who can travel in various galaxies. And how he would be doing it? See, whenever he reached somewhere, he used to say Narayan, Narayan. And when he used to vanish from somewhere, he used to say Narayan, Narayan. है ना? So maybe he was having a power to generate a black hole, and the particular frequency which he could have generated use narrating that word Narayan, Narayan, and with that sound wave, he was able to transform his mass and travel to that black hole and reach to a different place
Or
or a different
maybe it was a
different yog.
code word.
Code word or something. So this is what my theory is saying, that yes, sound, using a sound wave, a matter can travel from one place to another using a black hole, and Narad Muni was doing that.
Great.
So we started from Asuras and we reached to science.
Yeah, exactly. And there are many other things which human eyes can't see and we cannot touch, and all this theory, it's there as well.
Yep.
Correct.
Yeah.
What we can't see, there exists in this world that is beyond human capability to perceive.
I think the day when we'll be able to see electromagnetic radiations, we'll be able to see ghosts.
Ghost. Ravan.
Obviously, I have a theory for that also, but I think then podcast will go very long and people will say that they started from Asuras and went till ghosts. So we'll skip this portion now.
I would love to know. Maybe next podcast of yours.
Sure, sure. So, what you would like to say to the audience about your book and why they should read your book?
Mm. History has two faces. One is the story of the victor, which we often hear. The other is the story of the defeated, which we rarely hear. So, my book, The Asura Curse, is the story of the defeated. It's fact-based fiction, it's mystery, it's thriller. So do read my book and let me know what you think. And I really thank all your viewers who are listening to our conversation.
It was a great conversation. I enjoyed a lot.
Thank you, me too. And talking to a writer is an added flavor to the conversation. It's writers are
Same this
different,
side.
authors and have a different way of dealing with things, isn't it?
Definitely, it always give that flair when you're talking to a person who's also an author in front of you.
Yes.
So, guys, I hope you would have liked this podcast about Asuras. We have tried to do a conversation about it, try to explore about Asuras, and I think that you must have enjoyed this. So, do like, comment, and share this video. Link to the book is available in the description box. So, do go and buy this book. I highly recommend this. I have already read this book, and I can truly say you that it's a page turner. You will enjoy the thrill. You will enjoy the concepts and theories and research work what Anu has done. So, guys, don't miss it. Just go and buy this book and be with books and theories. Bye bye. Thank you, Anu ma'am, for being on the show
Thank you
once
so
again.
much. I really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.